No. Hello. How are you? It's dark. I'm telling a spooky story here in the car. I'm doing... everyone remembers this classic. Listening to WFMU again. I don't know what this is supposed to be. Clearly a wizard of some variety. Whoa, whoa, whoa. Yep, it's getting my lift on here in the car. It's 50 pounds. Now I don't like this one. This is like a weird jelly mustache, and then this is just a weird like pinch face effect. Remember when this was like a big deal on the Apple? And now, of course, here I am back to being a super cool dude. No thank you. How do I get... There we go. That's nice. So many choices of silly things to wear when you're doing your streams. Like, I think this is the one that I just had. Oh, they went black and white. But you can imagine I'm wearing glasses under glasses. If you can imagine that. Let me look down at you. Oh, it went away. Anyhow, I'm back. It's me. Welcome to the afternoon car sitting with Lou. Put that down. Whiz Tard. I couldn't see that before, but now I can. Not cool. Unkind. I'm here in the car, hanging out by myself. It's getting lighter out when it's 5 o'clock. I got the last spot a block away from my apartment. I would have tried to park on my block, but they're going to be shooting a movie there later in the week, and I would have to move my car again. It's the problem with living in a part of the city that is still kind of old school looking. So if you've seen the movie Bridge of Spies, you can see they drive right past my apartment. Yep, and they're pretending that was all in the 50s and whatnot. But it was actually shot in modern times. That's how movies work. So yeah, here in the car by myself. If you saw this morning, I talked a little bit about my trip to California. I went, a recap. I went out there for some work, talked to a lot of people, a lot of my coworkers. Went and saw the Dickies, thanks to my coworker JP telling me that concert was happening. Hold on a second. That was a great show. If you're not a fan of the Dickies, you should be. They are punk rock, but they are very silly from the 70s. Ooh, exciting. And so they're old, and they still rock, and they had a good time. And then I saw a band that opened for them called Round Eye, and it's a bunch of white guys from Shanghai who have a real fun punk rock band. And the guy had a Devo tattoo, which I was like, hey, nice Devo tattoo. And he said, hello, fellow Spud, which is, of course, a reference to Devo and all of their potato fascination. And then I flew back, and it was fine. On my trip, I watched the entirety of Altered Carbon and finished the, whatchamacallit? Oh, Big Mouth, the Nick Kroll animated series, which I thought was very funny, but also super weird and got more surreal as the series went on. But, yeah. So now I'm back in car sitting mode. Not much else going on. We had a contractor came by to fix the floor of our kitchen. Today, it's only been 1 year in the making getting the two panels that were broken replaced. And now, on top of that, I said, we had these two tiles on our kitchen floor. They're big. They're not like little tiles. They're just big slabs. And one of them was like rocking in place, and it cracked. And then the other one, also next to it, also cracked. And I was like, I thought it was because these discs underneath that they used to level the floor had not been sealed properly. But it's just that they didn't actually glue them down. They just, I don't even know how you could do this. Apparently they put down the tack stuff, but didn't glue them into place. So they broke. And then I was like, what, if those are loose, what's to stop any of the other ones from getting loose? And the guy was like, oh, I don't think that'll happen. And then I was walking around the kitchen today, and I was like, there's other loose tiles. So this is a never-ending process. Oh, well, we did get our underneath our dishwasher fixed. That used to be when we got the new dishwasher, they put in this piece of like whatever underneath. I think it's called kickstop or something like that. And it turned out that they didn't cut the notch big enough, so every time we opened the dishwasher, it was like pushing against this kicker, and when you put the dishwasher back closed, it would then pull on it and actually tore the face off of our dishwasher. And I figured out how to get the face back on, but I needed them to fix that, so they fixed it. That was nice. Now, if I had my own crazy tools, I probably could have done it myself, but I live in an apartment. I don't have a garage I can keep all my fancy tools in, so it took a while. But I'm glad it got done, because now the dishwasher opens and closes very nicely and smoothly, and there's no weirdness with it. Weirdness with the floor continues, but we're making some progress. Yeah. On the way out to LA, I had a very nice seatmate, which was, it's unusual these days where, in the past, at least for me, you sit next to somebody and occasionally you talk to them. These days, more straight ahead, watch your movie, watch whatever. But the lady I sat next to was a young lady who had just gotten a job being the assistant to an assistant of a basketball player. I didn't ask her which one, but she was flying out to LA to hang out at the All-Star game, and I was like, ooh, I'm jelly. That sounds fun. Because those NBA players, they make a lot of money, and they don't know what to do with themselves, so you can con them out of their money. That's what I'm getting at. Is that you can easily trick them out of their money, and it's an important thing, because they don't deserve it. They're selfish, and they should share it, especially with me. I don't know any basketball players. That's the problem with money in general, is that people don't want to give it to me for doing nothing. But I keep trying this angle of asking for it. Yeah. So who has watched and left? Let's see. Penny, Samantha, Brandy, 3 ladies I went to high school with. They were watching. Then Zachary was watching. And I don't know if anyone else was watching. I've got itchy skin. It's just these crazy weather times, I think. It is 63 degrees in February. And while some people are like, yay, it's 63 degrees, I can't help but be troubled by the global warming aspects of the weather. This is the 4th hottest February. And, yeah, it's nice to walk around in a t-shirt and then try to forget about, global warming and whatnot. How could I? It's funny, like these they just changed the interface on this, so it's hard to see. They added all these new ways to look at people who have chatted with you or are watching you with like giant green bubbles. Hello, Frank. Thank you for joining me here in the car. It doesn't give me the option of adding Frank. It gives me the option of adding other people. And as always, I say, if you want to chat, just let me know and I'll add you and we can do this awkward chatting over the phone. Well, it's not phone. Well, it is a phone, but you know what I'm saying. So yeah. Oh, I wanted to see a movie. Everyone's going to see the Black Panther. Now, the problem in my life is that my kids don't like seeing movies. They'd rather stay at home and watch Netflix or play video games. So video games have usurped the movie theater's draw to them. And I try to get them to come, I'll be like, oh, even if it's a movie you think they'd like Superman or, Black Panther. I'm like, what about Black Panther? And my 9-year-old is like, I mean, I have to literally drag him to see movies. And I do not get why. And he won't explain why. But I have not seen a good movie. I mean, I think I dragged him to see animated movies. Like the last couple of like Pixar movies. I'm like, literally like, and he'll be like, oh, I'm not going. I'm not going to the movie. But he does go to the movie because I'm stronger than him. And then he just sits there. Like the last movie, 2 movies ago, he refused to watch, and he missed the first like 10 minutes because he had his face in his shirt, and then slowly came out, and it was like Spider-Man or something like that. Then the last movie I dragged him to, he literally just faced the other way on the floor. And I had to be like, what the fuck are you doing? Yeah, it is a bummer. What was I was going to say that even though I stayed home today to deal with this contractor deal, when I came out here to move the car, pre-5 o'clock, like 4:45, this block that I'm on was almost fully parked in. And over an hour before people have to move their cars. It is nuts. And I got the last spot on the block. And I did park to the end of the block instead of parking to the person in front of me because of the spacing that these people in front of me have done is bad. Way too much space between each car. That's what your bumpers are for. Now, don't try to save your bumper with any bumper buddy or any of that bumper armor nonsense. I'm going to smash your car with my car. And our bumpers are going to get scratched up, and there's nothing you can do about it. Because I will actually get out and lift your bumper buddy up if I have to. Did someone just take a picture behind me? Spies. Oh, there goes one of my neighbors with their child. How old is that baby? Oh, they're carrying it, so I can see now it's still a baby. I didn't mean to sound so accusatory, but sometimes how old's that baby? Oh, okay. Just, it's I'm just doing my due diligence, making sure people aren't trying to, sneak in babies. If they had a baby and they bring a different baby in, can't have any switcheroos. That happens at all the hospitals already. You never know what kind of baby you're getting. That's what happens when you get rid of the storks. Storks kept everything nice and neat. Sure. It was weird to let a bird bring your baby from a weird, mysterious place. So we got rid of them, and we decided to do them all vaginally instead, and now look. People will be stealing babies left and right. Instead of delivering a fully happy baby in a diaper already from a cloud. But that's just how it goes. That is how it goes. Now, I was going to use this app today called Teradek or Air Solo. There you go. I'm sorry you can only hear me gesture. I was going to use this Teradek app for my thing today, but for some reason, using this third-party app to stream onto Facebook is against Facebook's terms of service. So that app becomes useless to me. It's a real bummer. What was I going to say? I'm totally distracted. There's an entirely different message stream not involving this recording popping up at the top of my phone in a very active way. So I'm having trouble not paying attention. Oh, the streetlights came on. It's still dark-ish, but it is very nice here. You can hear the helicopter. I had my window open because it was too hot in the car before. It was so hot in the car. So I was in LA. I hung out with my friend Eli, the guy who I've known since, I think, 10th grade. We were introduced by Mark the Beam Williams, who was a graffiti mentor of mine and who I used to bother incessantly as he worked at Wings airbrushing t-shirts. And I think he was like 21, and I was like 15 or 16. And I would come and sit in the window of the Wings behind his station while he waited for people to come and ask him to airbrush t-shirts. Because airbrushing t-shirts was a hot thing at the time, much like wearing an onion on your belt. And it was the style at the time. I used to just sit in the window and draw behind him. And then eventually the people who owned the Wings were like, you can't have these children come hang out with you. And he gave us I remember it was like a real drag, because he took me, and maybe it was Russell, may have been Eli, and we did like a walk around the block where he was going to like lay it down for us, like, look guys, I appreciate you guys hanging out and everything, it's fun, but this is a job and you guys can't come by every day and whatever. And I was just like, okay, yeah, I get it. But I thought he was really talking to the other person. I don't know. And it did not stop me from coming by, because I cannot take a hint. Ask all the girls I've gone after in my life. What? Not interested? Wink, I get what you're saying. Leave me alone? You mean think about you even harder. Got it. Yeah. There's some stalker stuff in my past, so what? Who doesn't? You know, covet people's dirty socks and underpants. It's just like the most concentrated smell a person has. Why would you deny me this? Yeah. So, in other news, I need to finish editing my next episode of my podcast. It is about men who, I don't want to spoil it, but it is about men who wear bras. And the different types of men who wear bras, whether they're transgender or they just like it. They're straight. It's a whole world of people and they need it because they have weird bodies, or they just like imagining they have breasts, but they're straight or they're gay. Doesn't matter. Either way, it was a weird read and an even weirder website, but the URL, which you'll hear if you listen to the episode. What was I going to say? Unfortunately, I was not in the city for Valentine's Day, so I did not get to spend Valentine's Day with my wife, but I did spend it with an ex-coworker in LA and had a lovely dinner where people kept being like, Valentine's Day dinner, and we would be like, no, we're just having dinner. Please do not insinuate that we are together. And at the end of our meal, they brought us a rose. And I was like, it's just not a romantic dinner. But I guess they were giving everybody roses, so. But weirdly, I didn't get to keep it. My former coworker kept the rose. And I was like, you couldn't even ask me if I want it? My hotel room could use a nice rose. Oh, that's a funny story. When I was in LA, I was in my hotel room at the Ambrose. And I decided I wanted some fresh air in the room. So I went to open the window. And it was one of these slides, like a left slide. And I did it like this, and then I didn't realize, I must have run into resistance and kept pushing, because the entire window just fell out on me. Like I was like, no! And it just fell, and I tried to catch it. And then, luckily it fell onto a chair, and I was able to pick it up and reinstall it and close it. And then that's when I noticed there's like a wooden block that's supposed to keep you from opening it all the way out, I guess. So you can't kill yourself in there. But it's only the 3rd floor. Seems like overkill. Like I get from, 5th floor and up. Because once you go above the 5th floor or the 5th story, your survival rate goes down like 10% every story. But I was only on the 3rd floor. And the hotel only has 4 floors. So, not sure why you're trying to keep the windows that closed. Who knows? Maybe it's for my own safety, because I don't want people climbing in my window. But, I don't think I'd be fond of that either. Look at all these cars driving by. So close. Well, I forgot what I was going to say. Anyway, so that was a fun story for me, having to pick up my hotel window. And then when I told somebody about it the next day, I told the guy who drove me to my office, because they have a free car service at this hotel. And he was like, "Oh, wow, really? That's nuts. I'll tell the front desk." And when I came home that night, my window had been locked, as if like that was the solution. But I could just unlock it. But no one ever mentioned it to me. It was all right, and I got to hang out with my friends I play video games with in person. Many of them, not all of them, but about half the crew came out and had some drinks. Big shout out to Captain Dope, Beelzebub, Mr. Explosive, aka 40-pound Nutballs, and Broken Lung, who all came out and had some oversized IPAs and whatnot. Oh, and that was a good time. That was funny. I put Halo on one of the machines at work, and people were like, "What are you doing?" It's like, I like to play Halo. And when I was up, people kept coming over and telling me how they used to play it, and how they had such great memories of it, and then how angry their friends were about certain iterations of Halo. It's funny, the long timeline of people who really like video games and have fond memories of them. And yet, you run into people who have given up video games as a certain milestone of their adulthood. And rarely does it make them happy that they quit video games. Like, they have fond memories, and at some point they're like, I had to put away childish things. And that's what I did. Now, they may have other childish things that they're still doing. Watching football on TV, maybe. Something like that. It's a huge time sink every weekend. But you could be spending that time playing a video game and having a story that you can share with your friends about how great you did at it. Well, last night, I finished top of the leaderboard in Call of Duty 3 times in a row with over 20 kills, and in 2 of the games I had 4 deaths. I mean, my KDA, spectacular. But you just can't bring that kind of a chit chat up at a party. They don't want to hear about it. Anyway, my time here in the car is almost up. This felt like a weird afternoon in the car. But I'm glad for those of you who did tune in, and I understand you're probably at work. But please come sit with me in the car again sometime in the future. I'm starting to get lonely. I want someone to be in the car. So if you think, I'd like to come in the car. I know Maddie Mako this morning was talking about coming and sitting in the car so we could talk about her dog and running and being a half Puerto Rican, half something kind of person. I've had one other half Puerto Rican, half something kind of person before, and that was I'm embarrassed. I'm drawing a blank on his name. Puerto Rican on Something Awful Forums. So Maddie Maka would be my second. And if any of my cousins from the Bronx came, they're all half Puerto Rican, half Polish. Oh, a strange but numerous combination of Puerto Rican plus person. Yeah. I mean, I always say I'm a West Side Story special, like, the Kings and the Jets or whatever it was. I'm not into musical theater. I wanted to say the Shakes. That wouldn't make any sense. The Shakes and the Jets. Calling your gang after some sort of delicious ice creamy treat is no way to get respect. Anyway, I'll get out of the car now. I gotta figure out when my physical therapy is. I got so many things going on. A lot of irons in the fire. and I'm going to brand someone with them. All right. Oh, man. This message barrage is really distracting. All right, well, thanks for watching. It's time for me to get out of the car. I've been in the car now for over an hour, and I would like to get out, and I'm gonna. I look forward to not having to rely on the street light for lighting. Come on, sun. I guess you can't force us to move around the sun faster. But if you had the power, would you? Probably not a good idea. All right, thanks for watching. Bye-bye.